So then, Abdul, when was the moment you started to believe in yourself?
I think after I had spoken to my mentor, I kind of went back and really started to focus on me and started to read a lot of self-development books. It's strange because a lot of the prisoners actually helped me, which is a bit ironic because you'd think, oh, like most of these people are, well, Wandsworth is a remand jail, so you can't say everyone is a convicted criminal. But at the time that I was in there, a lot of the people were older.
Okay.
Right? And they already had houses, wives, mortgages, like businesses and things. And they actually came and gave me books and said, listen, read this. One of them was The Secret. Read this. One of them was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Read. So now, all of these things, I'd never read these books before, but I knew the contents of it through my own life, but I hadn't actually read it as like, oh, okay, that's what this means. Oh, I'm seeing these things and manifesting these things and whatever. And I've read one book called by Tony Robbins called Unlimited Power.
Mm-hmm.
And that book, I can single-handedly say, changed my whole life. That book, because I read it and everything just made sense to me. How to build rapport with people, how to sustain relationships, how to build a business, how to maintain a brand, like how to use your mind to get what you want in life and how to just be a nice person. All these things and all my own personal morals that were drilled into me from my parents and everything for me was in that book. And I was just like, okay, so maybe I had to be back in this position to read this book.
What's the difference it makes reading it? Like what? Because obviously you're saying that these things you had in your life, that things were happening.
Yeah.
But what is the difference that reading it makes?
It kind of affirmed it, right? And it the best way I can describe it is, let's just say you play pool, yeah? You know the basic rules of pool, but you might read the book on how to play pool and not realize that, by putting this ball and doing this at this, or this angle makes this thing, okay, now it makes sense. So when you go and apply it, it's actually making sense as opposed to it, you just freestyling. It's like it adds structure as opposed to a freestyle.
Gives you a framework, in it.
Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
No, I hear you, man. That's dope.
How important do you think structure is for people?
Oh, it's so important. Without structure, there's chaos. And I think that's in all forms of life, not even just in like, even when you come down to like people that are in prison for whatever they're in prison for, they would have had to have some structure to be able to commit the crime, to be able to do what they're doing. Everything has structure. When there's no structure, there's chaos. So for me, I believe that having structure has been the thing that's kept me on the straight and narrow. Because without knowing, I don't know, what I'm doing tomorrow or what I'm doing today, it kind of throws you off, and then you're open to external factors to come and throw you off, and they'll make you a part of their structure.
Just remind us of the book.
Unlimited Power, Tony Robbins.
Love that.
Those books, I've never read that one, so that's going to be on my list.
On mine too.
You know, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
You know, that's the prison starter kit.
The starter pack.
Yeah. That one there, but that unlocks your intrigue to going forward. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a really good book. It is. So then, obviously, because we mentioned this in an episode before, previous episode that we did, it was just me and Jules talking. And we were saying that other people should talk to other prisoners that you're with.
Yeah.
Who've got experience maybe in business or whatnot.
100%.
Yeah. How valuable was that advice that you got from your fellow inmates?
Without them, I wouldn't. Listen, to this day, my first business would not have started without the help of the people that I met in jail. That's how solid and how important my relationships with them were, right? Not to say that that's the blueprint for anyone moving forward, but the people that I happened to meet just happened to have done business before. They might have done something bad and whatever, but their knowledge and experience was still valuable.
100%.
Because they had actually had businesses and they'd done it. So they kind of showed me what not to do to end up back in their situation, if that makes sense. So invaluable, super important.
I love that. So then what drives you forward when, you know, you feel like giving up or things ain't really going your way? What continues to drive you forward?
What now? As in day by day?
Yeah.
A few things.
Talk to me.
I'd say the main catalyst now is obviously my kids. Just knowing that no one would want their kids to think that their dad's a failure. Like that, I think that's it. You're finished after that, innit? Do you know what I mean? For me, anyway. I think knowing that I can make a difference and that I have people that genuinely look up to me and they're like, you've influenced my life in the positive. Letting those people down, 100%. God, 1,000,000%. And just the induction wing, I think. Like I have flashbacks to that place, bro. I'm like, what? No remote for my TV. That green apple, bro, drop me out. I'm not on it. I'm not on it.
Listen, just before you came in, we recorded another episode, yeah? And we spoke about showering in your socks.
Come on, man, it's pain.
Did you ever do that? Yeah,
of course. I'm not trying to get another roof.
That's induction wing.
Induction wing. The grey socks, like that every man has worn. Like, so see that thought.
Yeah,
that keeps me going. Trust me.
I hear you. No, I hear you, and I'm sure. No, listen, it's real. It's real.
I'm sorry, you just took us all back to that dark place.
Of course,
of it's induction wing.
No, you're right, because listen, one of my boys, he's back in now. Yeah. But I remember I saw him in the. I was leaving the gym and I saw him. And I knew he's up to something. Yeah. You know, I said to him, bro, remember the wing. Because we were on the wing together and he used to be like, I can't do this. You know, the miserable, you're miserable.
I can't do it, get me out.
Get him out, it's long, I want to go home. Yeah. He was one of them guys.
Mona.
And I told him, bro, remember the ring. Remember the wing.
Yeah.
Remember all them things you used to say.
Yeah.
Remember it, when you're doing what you're doing. Yeah. He was like, don't remind me. I said, I got you, because look what you're doing. But it's right. That reminder does keep you going.
It keeps you... It's the harshest, sharpest reminder, and it's such a bad memory. That you're like, you know what? What I was thinking about doing, let me just reverse that thought and do something positive,
correct.
And just sit at my house.
No, correct. You mentioned there, like, carry on to what failure,
yeah.
And not wanting to be one, but what does it take to come back from things that don't go your way? What does it take to come back from losing a successful business or something not going right? What does it take?
Resilience, patience, determination, unwavering faith, and self-belief. Like, you have to really, really, like I said, I'm still on a journey. Like, I might wear this suit here and whatever, but this doesn't mean nothing. I am still on a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment, and I learn from people every day. Coming here, I've learned things. Talking to you guys, I learn. I feel like you always have to be open to learning, because no one knows everything, right? And when you have that mindset, you can overcome things. You got to think there's people out there that are in such worse positions than we are. When you have to go through hurdles in order to get to where you're going to. There isn't no straight path to success. How boring that is. Like, who does that? I've never heard of someone go, oh yeah, I just made it. And
I think people, sorry to cut you, but people need to keep hearing that and be reminded of that, because the more successful people that say that,
sure,
and the more people that overcome things and do the things that they want, keep saying that, it's hard, there's hurdles, there's no straight road, the more it becomes believable, the more that people going through that actually understand, okay, I have to push through this part. I have to push through this
100%.
part. Because it gives people more realization that there is no straight road. And if it was easy, everyone can do it.
A perfect example of that is people that win the lottery. Most people that win the lottery lose their fortune within an X amount of time, or they
on average, they go broke, yeah.
So it's like success. Like, if they had a bit of hardship before they made or received that substantial amount of money, they would have better money management.
Yeah.
Or they would understand that, you know what, there's a risk of me losing this if I do this, and they won't make certain decisions. Same with life. When you're going through hard times, you realize this is how I get through this. So if this situation ever occurred again, not even to just yourself, but to someone else, you can use your experience to help them get through whatever they're going through. So
It's muscle memory as well. Isn't it?
100% is super important.
I also think like because everyone's journey is so individual, sometimes people might think this doesn't normally happen to successful people. This means I can't do it. This means it shouldn't be happening for me because it is so personal. It's so individual. Everyone's on such a different journey. And I think that can knock people too.
100%.
But just saying to people that it happens to absolutely everybody. I just think that would help people listening that, you know, it happens to everyone.
Definitely.
So thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Have you always been this entrepreneurial, always had that kind of mindset growing up?
Yeah, both my parents are business owners.
Okay.
I've never seen my dad have a job. I've never seen him have a boss. He's always been his own boss. Same with my mum. So it was normal to me. Like me going into business was like alien for me to go and get a job.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Not because it's the wrong thing to do. It's just because in my environment where I grew up, my dad got a construction company. My mum had hair. She had like the first black hair salon in our area. I live in Essex. Now she's got like care homes and stuff. So for me, I've always got to work for myself. But I saw the work rate they put in. So yeah, I'd say I've always been entrepreneurial. Maybe when I was younger, I was influenced to be entrepreneurial in the wrong things. And I learned and rectified that decision and came and made something better of myself.
Right, so then that brings me another question. Then, if you saw your parents being like business owners, why wasn't your initial instinct to go into legitimate business? Why do you think you went down the other way?
It was, to be fair, like when I was in college, I did business.
Okay.
I studied accounting. Like I was like a model student.
Okay.
But I think it comes down to where I lived. I was the only person that had that set up in the family, right? All of the people that I was around in my area, they didn't have that. They had stable homes and stuff. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But I mean, like, when they finished school, they'd be like, they're the ones that they could swear at their mums. And
okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't. So in my household, my dad was in the army. My household was very strict, very disciplined. So I think I rebelled from that because I could see my friends never even had to do 1% of the things that I had to do at my house. So I think I kind of wanted to be a bit more like them, and I kind of rebelled against my regime. Whereas if I stuck to my regime,
who knows where you would have gone?
Yeah, but at the same time, if I didn't stick to, like, if I wouldn't be here now. So I don't regret a thing. I just understand a lot more now, if that makes sense. And I always have to shout out my dad just for being there, for one.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
And for two, for actually setting the rules and examples of great parenting. So yeah.
No, I appreciate that, man.
So what were the steps that you actually had to take? Now, this might be a big question.
Go on.
But yeah, the steps that you actually had to take to get to the position you're in now.
All right, I'll break it down as simply as I can break it.
Please,
because it's
please.
such a big open-ended question.
It is.
I feel like it needs a really simple answer. That's effective though.
Exactly, for people listening, because, you know, we've heard like this story, this journey. But yeah, how are you here in doing this right now?
First step is have a plan. The best thing I ever bought on my canteen sheet was the big pen, even though you get bumped, it's about £2.
Yeah.
It's the pen and that red notepad.
Yeah.
The A4 notepad.
Yeah.
That's the best investment I ever made in whilst I was in there, because I could sit and solidly write out exactly what it is that I wanted to do. And that's exactly what I did. To the T, I wrote out, okay, when I come out, this is what I'm going to do, right? Then you need to drop out every single person that does not share the same mentality as you or has any unwavering thoughts that aren't legitimate. Cut them out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if it's your brother. Cut them out, because family, friends, and associates that don't share your same beliefs will only bring you down. And it might sound harsh, but I did the same thing. I did that. So you're asking me what my steps were, right? I cut out. First thing is I had a plan. Second thing is I cut out anyone that wasn't positive to the journey I was about to go on.
Can I pause you there?
Go ahead.
Cool. What if how difficult, how easy was that for you to cut out people? That's the first question.
Yeah.
Secondly, if someone does that and they haven't got anyone else, what advice would you give them then?
Cool. First thing, it was super difficult. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done because you're emotionally attached to that person, right? And it's about breaking that emotional attachment for your greater good. Secondly, someone that is in that position that doesn't have anyone else, I'd say you'll be able to find other people that are on the same journey as you're on and connect with them because they will be out there. You just have to look.
So basically, you got to find a new people, find a new circle.
Yeah, you've got to find a new circle of positive people. So the first thing was write down, like, create a strategy.
Yep.
Second thing was
dropping out the people that don't fit with that.
Third thing is laser beam focus. Don't get distracted. Have your goal, and anything that you do, any conversations that you have, any people that you meet, if they are not conducive to what you've written down, drop it out. It doesn't make no sense. Them three things, 100%, is what got me to write.
Just to have that notebook.
I do. Do you know what? I actually do.
Yeah.
I promise you, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it
Yeah.
in. Yeah. It's a blue notepad. I've got exactly what I said I was going to do, and it's written down. And you can see it because, you know, like in my books, when I was in there, I used to write like 2009, free me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you'll start seeing like a list of like 7 names of like, free this person. So you know it's real.
Yeah. That's dope.
So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Dope.
And what about steps that you take right now to stay on what you do? Are they the same points?
Yeah, I'd say.
Have they changed slightly? Because I feel like people listening right now,
Yeah.
if they're inside or just
Yeah.
about to get out, can actually take these steps, right?
100%.
And moving forward to maintain this and to keep pushing on, would there be any other steps that you're going to add?
I wouldn't say there are.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because the plan and the strategy is going to be the same. It's not going to change. If I was to allow certain people into my life now that I wouldn't really like associate with for other things, it's going to go down one way. And the third point was, if I don't remain focused in what I'm doing, what I've built is going to slip. So it actually, you have to do it more so than when you first come home. You actually have to stick with it even more, if that makes sense.
So let me rephrase it then, yeah? How do you maintain the laser beam focus? How do you maintain it?
By understanding what a distraction is and knowing in your heart and in your mind, is what I'm about to do conducive to my plan? Like step 3 goes to step, everything goes back to step 1. It's like, does this even make sense?
It needs to align with what you're
Okay,
doing
I'll take this
right now.
podcast, for example. I know that me coming on this podcast and speaking to you guys is going to potentially help other people that are in the same position that we were once in.
Yeah.
That is conducive to my plan because I'm helping other people and giving them a blueprint for, in a way that they might not have heard or seen, of how to come out and not go down the same path.
Yeah.
That aligns with my morals and what I'm about.
Yeah.
If it didn't, I wouldn't come on it.
No, and you said it at the start, that's part of what you want to do.
100%.
So that's part of what you want to do. So it's conducive to that plan, correct?
And how important was it to have those people in your life, on your journey, around you that believed in you and supported you?
Oh, so important. Without them, I wouldn't be here. But you know what the funny thing is what a lot of people won't understand is sometimes those people are people you don't really know that well, right? They're people that you might have only known for like 2 or 3 months, and they'll do more for you and support you more than your so-called friends that you've known for 15 plus years, or your family members that have known you your whole life, or your associates or whatever. So be open-minded as to how people will treat you, because other people will see your potential more than the people around you will. And they'll support you more than those people will. Obviously, it's different situations, different strokes for different folks, but definitely be open-minded to understanding that your support network might come from the people that you would never have thought it would come from.
And if anybody listening is able to provide that support for somebody, how can they support somebody? If somebody is listening and thinks I can, what would you say to them?
I'd say put it out there. Like go on Instagram or go on Twitter or go on Facebook or whatever and say, I am willing to help. is there anyone that needs help in this, I don't know, mental health or signposting to job boards or whatever? Actually tell people how you're going to help them, because no one's a mind reader, right? And the power of social media is so powerful nowadays. People share things and someone's always knows someone that is looking for something.
Yeah.
So if you don't say that, how is anyone going to know? So for anyone that is watching that has something to offer, tell people.
And you have kind of touched on it just now, but with your message and what you're trying to do and everything you've been through, we know that you want people to benefit from what you're telling people and your own personal journey.
Sure.
What would you say to somebody who's listening and, on the receiving end of that support that somebody else is giving them?
Yeah.
And what would you say to somebody on the receiving end and how they can make the most of it for their own journey?
It's a great question. I'd say have fun first and foremost. Like, don't take life too seriously. Like, it's all well and good. We all want to be able to live in a way that we want to live, but at the same time, just be you.
Enjoy it.
Like, be authentically you. There's nothing wrong with you at all if you understand who you are. If you don't know who you are, you're going to start to see insecurities and flaws in yourself and start comparing yourself to other people. But when you know who you are authentically, you're just you. Like, you're just Jules. You're just Zak. Like, it's authentic. People can see that. That's why people come and watch the podcast, because they understand who you guys are. Whereas if you was a chameleon and you was this a bit, you're only this person at this time.
Come across.
But when you leave here, you're someone else. People can sense that. So for someone else that is in that same position, I'd say just be authentically you and follow the steps and you'll be fine. Like, life will work out. God has a mysterious way of making things work out for people, and just have unwavering belief and faith in yourself and your own capabilities, and ask people for help. Actually ask. No one's going to say no. Like, and if they do say no, they said no. Wow, what's that happened? Like, nothing. I'll ask someone else, or ask them to signpost you to someone else. Like, there's so many capabilities and so many different avenues that people can go down, that it all comes down to self-limiting beliefs, really and truly. So once you kind of push past them, life becomes a lot more easier to deal with, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And read the book.
Read the book.
Read the book.
Read the book. Yeah, there's so many different ways of growth. There's no one straight road. And like I said, we're all individuals, we're all different, we're all triggered by different things, we all have our own different traumas we're trying to navigate, and there isn't one, what's that one?
There's not one pathway in it.
It's not one path.
It's not one
so
avenue,
like,
it's different.
Try different ways. If you don't try, you'll never know, will you? So yeah, I'd just say just understand that you can be whatever the hell you want to be. And there is tools out there for you to be able to do it. You just have to believe it yourself.
Love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Love that. Something we like to do in Life After Prison is shine a light, spotlight, showcase organizations that can support people, whether that's in prison or in their journey of life after prison.
Sure.
So I wanted to ask you if there's any organizations you wanted to shout out.
Yeah, I'd love to shout out Power the Fight. It's run by a guy called Ben Lindsay, and they help support communities in stopping violence and youth violence. And have you seen recently, there's been so much violence that's happened in and around London and stuff. And I think organizations like that are super important for not only the support, but also helping the community as well. Yeah. And yeah, I'd love to shout them out and shine some light on what they do. So
appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you, man. Another organization I'm going to shout out is the School for Social Entrepreneurs. They're a nationwide organization that runs programs for aspiring entrepreneurs with social impact goals. So if that's something you're interested in, check them out. And we've got many more in our show notes. So have a look and see these organizations and what they can do to support you.
And of course, we love hearing from you guys. So our question to you was, what kept you out of prison? And we had some brilliant responses. So thank you everyone for sharing them with us. I'm going to read a few out. Somebody said family, strength, and poetry.
All right, poetry.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one.
Yeah, innit? Yeah.
Poetic justice.
Yeah, innit? Trust me.
Ems, you said family. Very important.
Big up Ems though. That's my boy Ems. Yeah,
Something. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Andrew, you said something really sweet. Being lucky enough to meet my wife.
Love that.
That makes a big difference.
Love that.
And Frankie, you said shame and letting people down. And I think that's something that we spoke about earlier as well. When you think about your
Also
your kids.
also the thoughts of the induction wing.
Yeah, that one there, nightmares.
Reminiscing on the induction.
Keep getting in touch with us, guys. Please do. We love hearing from you, and it's really helpful.
Just before we go, any more you want to add to that? What keeps you out of jail?
Well, I think, you touched on something really lovely about your kids. And I think for me, it would be family.
Yeah.
But also, we've spoken about it, knowing who you are and what you want and where you're going. Now that I know where I want to be and who I want to be and how I want to be, that keeps me going. I'm excited about my own personal growth in life. Yeah. It keeps me well away from there.
Yeah, I love it.
What about you?
The pain of doing another sentence, the pain of going through the system again, the pain of trial, police cell, prison, and then starting again. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that again. I can't.
I'm smiling because it's not because it's funny, but it's because I feel the pain. It's like sometimes you have to smile through the pain. Yeah. It's like this is years of
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So I think for me, like I said, kids, but I think it's just also knowing that I can reach my full potential. Like my full potential is like I can't even put it into words. And I think that feeling alone is like it's enough.
Yeah.
For me to be like, nah.
For sure.
Nah,
so anybody listening or watching right now that doesn't feel like they have that, you do.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
You got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
You've got it. You just got to find it.
Yeah.
100%.
So please continue to get in touch with us. And if you feel like you've got anything else to add on the topic, please let us know. You can DM us on Instagram and X at After Prison Pod. You can also DM us on TikTok at Life After Prison Pod. If you want to send an email, you can email us at podcast@prison.radio. And if you're listening on the inside, you can get in touch via the usual way on NPR.
So a massive thank you, Abdul Bangura, for joining us today in the studio.
Thank you, man.
It's been a real pleasure, so thank you. And to everybody listening, we will see you next time.
Yeah, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.